This is reposted.
Today we're joined by Kristina Horan. She's an actor and a website designer. When she isn't on set of the film or a national commercial, no big deal. She's creating nuanced websites for actors, creatives, and small businesses, and that reflects the essence that markets them professionally. I can emphatically say you are a hustler on marketing, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Also, guys, check out KristinaHoran.com. KHWD is her website design company, or Instagram, Kristina Horan Website Designs, and Kristina Horan. All right, all that's done. Let's get into it. So today's quote is unknown, but is commonly used, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. It says, "The dream is free, the hustle is sold separately." You exude hustle to me, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on this.
Thank you. I mean, you're an actor as well. It's everybody can have the dream. Everybody can want to do something, but the steps and actions that you take to make the dream happen and to give yourself the opportunity to actually achieve that is the hustle. I mean, you can have the dream. It doesn't mean that you have to hustle for it. So I think when I hear that quote, the dream is free, but the hustle is sold separately, it's a two-part package, but you kind of need one in order to have the other.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious for actors because everyone's like, "Oh, I want to be an actor. I want to get $20 million per picture." But like, you look at it, you're not from New York. You spend a lot of time in New York. You have to pick up your life and move there. And like, once you actually start practicing trying to become an actor, like, it's dirty and it's ugly. I mean, have you had that experience at all?
Oh my God, have I? Listen, so I went to school in New York for 4 years, graduated, moved back home to Rhode Island so I could compete in pageants actually to help me pay off my college loans, which definitely helped. But from that point on, I've been splitting my time between New York. So my typical work day before COVID, I would wake up at 5 a.m. I would drive like 3.5 hours to the city, spend the day in New York, leave around like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and then do the same thing the next day. And whether it was to commute back to New York for something or to go to Boston because I work heavily in that market as well, that was sort of how I split my time. So I feel like that quote, and I love this quote, and I'm so excited that you made this quote for our segment today, because it really does speak truth to not only the life as an actor, but I think also to the life as an entrepreneur, that you can want the thing, but the hustle and what you do to make it happen is completely sold separately, and it's completely a necessity in itself in order to make that thing possible.
Yeah.
Okay, Kristina, I have a Manhattanville College quiz coming up for you. So just wait, hold on. It's not here yet. Stick with this analogy. I feel like you're one of the people that came through in the Wild Wild West and went to Nevada, because there were all sorts of people digging for gold. And then the people came along and sold them Levi's and shovels. You built your business on making websites for actors. You looked around, you were an actor, and said like, hey, actors need good websites to promote who they are. And you formed this business, speaking of hustling. What gave you the idea? Was it just a lack of, hey, there's someone, I'm doing both so I could help people out in the process?
So I've been designing websites for about 4 years now. My first website was designed my senior year of college as a project, and it really was just like a cathartic hobby for me. Like, I would always just want to design friends' websites and, just for fun. And what really made me want to turn it into a business is a professor from NYU, who is a good friend as well, had reached out to me and said, hey, in my business of acting course, I would really like to incorporate your website as part of the curriculum to show my students what an industry standard website looks like. So we chatted throughout the whole final semester before COVID cut everything off at NYU. And I think for me, like, it just gave me the validation that what I was doing wasn't just something that I enjoyed, but it was something that I felt like, what, if this professor is using my website as part of his curriculum at NYU, then I want to be able to offer this service and this help to other actors who are outside of that program, because there's so many actors and I stumble upon so many websites that are doing the wrong thing. And I think after receiving that validation from that professor and knowing that my website is part of a school's program that's very well respected, it just made me feel like, I have some clout now to move forward and not only help actors, but to also help small businesses. I love working on actor websites because I feel like, that's where I started. That's who I am. That's what I know extremely well because that's what I do. But I really love working with small businesses as well and helping, them launch their career as well. And it's totally different than an actor website, but there's a part of it and a design and a creative aspect of it that I love as well in doing that.
So I guess back to the quote one more time. Everyone, well, not everyone, people, I know a lot of people that have been actors, they're pursuing it. And I've seen so many people, quote, give up. Like I'm in LA and people are like, oh, I'm moving back home. Yeah. And I think the cost of the hustle for acting right now during COVID is even higher. And from what I see of you, you're maybe doubling down, like you're very active and it seems like you're still going. Do you feel like this is something you want, like you're just going to keep doing until it breaks?
Absolutely. I'm really stubborn. So, I mean, this is from the time that I was young, like I did ballet, and from the time I can remember, like I always knew I wanted to do this. And there's never been a part of me that's ever doubted it. It's because I'm willing to put in the work. And I think just kind of tying everything together into that quote, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. You have to be fully invested to do the hustle and understands that, nothing can be achieved without the hustle. Of course, there's the 1% where things fall in their lap, but for most people, you have to put work into it. Like even outside of acting, just my website business. I mean, I'm not just sitting around hoping that someone stumbles upon, my page and sees the work that I've done. I mean, I'm doing a lot of work. I'm working with a marketing company. I taught myself code. I'm, reaching out to other people such as yourself to, connect and that's all part of the hustle. And that's in any industry that you get into.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to be clear, we connected on an actors Facebook group, and you're just like, hey, everybody in this group, I'm out there doing it. Who wants to connect and help each other out? And I think that's embodying our quote today.
Yeah, and I love what you do, and I love what the podcast does. And I think especially, what actors need to hear, not just actors, but everybody, just a little segment talking about, an inspirational quote that everybody can apply to their life in some way, I think is so beneficial.
All right, Katie, two fun questions before you leave today. You were in a movie last year. Katie Fjordy, I can't pronounce the last name, but Wakahukist?
Yeah, it was a German film. I got cut out of it.
Oh, you did? Well, how do you say the Katie Fjord Wakahukist?
Katie, I think it's Katie Frau. Oh man, I should know this. I can't even pronounce the last one. So it was a really interesting experience. I was on set and I said all of my lines in English and the opposing actor said his in German. So they gave me a German script and an English script. And I had to read over both so I could understand, not only know my lines, but know what the lines would sound like in German that were my cue lines. So
I think a lot of my family is from Germany, and I think the trick to German is this very aggressive, Ich bin ein. And so you just have to yell. Larry's not impressed.
I'm always impressed when you do accents on the program. Thank you for the record, Andrew. Yeah. Okay, so now to my Manhattanville College quiz. You ready?
Okay.
Who is the most famous alumnus of Manhattanville College?
One of the Kennedys, right?
Oh, look at you, Eunice Kennedy. Thank you.
Thank you. There we go.
Kristina, nice work.
One of the buildings is named after her. So.
Oh.
Well, some would argue Maria Shriver, but we'll go with Eunice Kennedy Shriver.
Okay.
A resident of Los Angeles. Thank you so much again for joining us, guys. Go to KristinaHoran.com, on Instagram, Kristina Horan Web Designs, and at Kristina Horan. If you want to reach out to us, we're a reposted podcast at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok. I'm Andrew Keller for Kristina Horan and Larry saying thanks for stopping by.